Hello and welcome to the tutorial for the ukulele play-along of Cupid by Sam Cooke. Let me tell you, it was really fun to do this song. It was a song that was recently recorded by someone on Facebook on one of the ukulele groups, and I thought I would love to bring that to your attention. And when I really got into the song, it's definitely not Sam Cooke's most famous song, but it is a famous song. It is about as straightforward of a song as you can get in G. There are only 4 chords, there are only 2 possible really rhythms for you to play, and it's a really great song to play and learn. So every now and then you trip upon a play along which just really makes a lot of sense, and this one really does. It would be great for a group, it'd be great for a school, and it's good because it uses the E minor and the G chords, but isn't wickedly hard. So let's take a look at Cupid by Sam Cooke. For GCEA Chords, I'll be using my Kala SSLNG ukulele. That's spruce top, soprano, long neck ukulele. So it has a laminate back and sides, but a spruce top and a soprano body with a concert neck to make it a little bit easier to play. So that's what I'll be using for the GCEA chords. And there's only 4. The first chord is G. So first finger will go on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. Second finger on the 1st string, 2nd fret. 3rd finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. That's your G chord. Now the next chord is the E minor chord. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. Please don't take your hand away from the G chord that you're already making. But now just add your pinky to the 3rd string, 4th fret while making the G chord. And that's going to be really important because there's lots of times in this song where you're going to go. And all you got to do is move your pinky and make that happen. Now let's say you don't want to just move your pinky and you want to move your entire hand. Okay, then you play the E minor by playing. First finger goes on the 1st string, 2nd fret. Second finger goes on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. 3rd finger goes on the 3rd string, 4th fret. That's E minor. But you can also put your pinky on the 4th string, 4th fret if you want. I typically don't, but then if you do that, you have a movable shape that can go up and down the neck covering all 4 strings. So that's why people would do that one on occasion. But that's the E minor chord. The next chord is the C chord. 3rd finger, 1st string, 3rd fret. By the way, can you play that with another finger? Sure. But in general, when we're talking ukulele positions, we generally, when we're learning, want to put each one of these fingers on one of those 4 frets as you go. So it's, your finger just naturally goes to that 1st string, 3rd fret. But down the road, you might find that you play C with your pinky. You might see that you play it occasionally with your 1st finger. But when you're starting off, just try to get with that 3rd finger for a while until you know that you can do it. And the last chord you'll need is a Hawaiian D7. You make it by putting the 1st finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and the 2nd finger on the 2nd string, 2nd fret, and you play that. Now, it's called the Hawaiian D7 because there is no actual D in that chord, but our ear usually supplies it if it's not already in the melody or the bass or somewhere else. So that's why that chord is used, and it's, again, easier to use than the full barred D7. So Hawaiian D7 is generally what we show and is what appears in most of the ukulele books talking about D7. So for DGBE chords, I'll be using my mainland baritone ukulele. There's a cedar top and rosewood back and sides. It's my only baritone, so that's why you see it in many of my videos. The first chord you'll need is the G chord. 3rd finger, 1st string, 3rd fret. The second chord you'll need is E minor. Another hard one on baritone. Just kidding. 2nd finger, 4th string, 2nd fret. The third chord lead is the C chord. 1st finger goes on the 2nd string, 1st fret. 2nd finger goes on the 4th string, 2nd fret. That's your C chord. And then the final chord you'll need is the D7 chord. 1st finger goes on the 2nd string, 1st fret. 2nd finger goes on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And 3rd finger goes on the 1st string, 2nd fret. That's your D7 chord. It's an upside down V shape. As you're holding those fingers down, here's the D7 chord. As it comes to strumming on this song, I think there's only 2 possible solutions. But if you hear something different, it doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means play what makes you happy. Because, unfortunately, Sam Cooke didn't use ukulele in this original version. That said, let's take a look at some strumming ideas. The first thing I'd like to throw at you is just the island strum. And I'll just play it on the G chord for now. And that goes down, down, up, down, up. Now, if you notice, I'm trying to make sure that you can see my hand, and it's easier to do when I'm playing the soprano. It's down, down, up, down, up. And please notice that my hand doesn't stop, whether I'm playing or... So really work on making that work for you. And notice that most of the motion comes from the wrist, very little from the arm. And as Aldrine Guerrero from Ukulele Underground says, it's like flicking water off of your pointed finger down, flicking it off, like drying your hands off with water. That's what you're trying to do here. The other idea that I'd steal from Cynthia Lynn, another great ukulele teacher on YouTube, is to make sure you're playing through the strings to the fretboard. You're not just trying to just play the strings. Don't worry about hitting the fretboard. Think about playing through it. Now, that doesn't mean purposely hit the fretboard as hard as you can, but it means pressing through without fear of just, there's sometimes some fear to not play all the way down. So let's try that. We'll try with the progression. I'll put up here G, E minor, G, C, G, D7, G, D7. And that's probably enough to get an idea. And it's one measure on each of those. Also, let me remind you that it's a great time to practice making that E minor with the pinky as you go from G to E minor back to G. Let's do it. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. What about baritone ukulele, you say? Well, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, really, that island strum is really the best solution here. But we can add something to it. There's something called a rasgueado strum where you strum all 4 fingers as you strum. So if I was on, for example, the G chord, if you run all 4 fingers across and you kind of purposely slow it down a little bit rather than just going as fast as you can, but you slow it so you can hear them all kind of hit, that's called the rasgueado strum. It really comes from flamenco playing. It's really kind of a cool technique. But here, that works really good on the second down. So in the island strum where you're going down, down, up, down, up, instead of going down, down, up, go down, rasgueado down. Hear that? Down. So let's try it. A 1, 2, 3, 4. If you go slow enough, you can hear all those fingers hit. And if you try that with the recording or if you try that with the play along, it'll sound really, really good. And those are the fun things you can just add to a piece. Once you have something like the island strum down, you can add that simple technique, which isn't hard. Now again, if your fingers get stuck while you're playing, and that may sound ludicrous, but as a teacher who has taught ukulele, I end up with students raising their hand and they've got their fingers literally stuck in the ukulele and you're like, oh my, it happens. There you're probably not strumming in the right spot. We generally try to strum where the body meets the neck, and that's a little lopsided on this instrument, but if you notice where the center of the string is most of the time, it's in here. And then we only shift generally to down over the sound hole when we're picking. But for strumming mostly happens here. And if you've got a guitar background, you're used to everything happening here most of the time. But get used to going up here, playing through the strings into the fretboard, not purposely driving into it. And just, flicking that finger, letting that wrist do the work, and you'll be ready to go for the song. So realistically, that's all you need for the song. It's a great song. It's so melodic. Sam Cooke was so wonderful. It's wonderful. It's in its original key. It's a great key for standard GCEA ukulele. It's a great song for DGBE baritone ukulele. It's a great solution for either. Great play along for just about any situation. And it's a song that I don't think anybody can walk away from and dislike. So it's a great song. Very, very happy to be able to bring it to you as a play along. And I'd like to thank you again for watching the video, and we'll see you next time.